Bring them home now. That is the cry of over 200 people who gathered in front of the Vancouver Art Gallery to demand that the over 230 hostages still being held captive by Hamas terrorists in Gaza be returned safely to their loved ones.
The number is 239. Amongst them, there are 30 kids. I can't imagine. I cannot. It's just beyond my. It's shocking. It still is shocking after 3 weeks.
Are you happy with Canada's response to what's happening right now with Israel and Hamas?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
No.
If this were my children, my family, I would want to know that people all over the world are coming out to say, bring them home.
I love Palestinian, I love Israeli, I love Iranian, I love all innocent people. We are not the cause, the politics, dirty politics, because that's why people are getting killed.
Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News, standing in front of the Vancouver Art Gallery after a protest and march took place. It was called the Bring Them Home protest. Members of the Jewish and Iranian community gathered here today on those steps, many of which were holding posters and images of the over 230 hostages still being held captive by Hamas terrorists ever since October 7th. Now, in case you don't know, some of those hostages are women, children, elderly, innocent civilians that have still not been returned. And while we see protests like what I covered here today happening, we also see videos circulating from different countries and different cities of citizens ripping down images of these hostages who are still being held captive. I want to talk to the protesters today about why it was important for them to be here, what they think about those images that are circulating, and more. And I'm going to show you that. But before I do, I want to show you just a little bit of some of the coverage we have of family members of those hostage from Israel. Take a look.
They kidnapped him. This man, his name is Bipin Joshi, and two of us, our friend, are back to Nepal. Out of 17, 10 died, 4 of us are injured, and we are having treatment, including me, and he's been kidnapped by Hamas.
We were beyond lucky to get a sign of life from our beloved one, but so many people didn't get it, and even now, this sign of life means nothing. We have no idea what's going on with her. We only got her from the top and up, like only the top side of her body. We have no idea what's going on underneath. We don't know what other surgeries she has been through. We don't know her medical condition. She suffers from more medical situations and more health issues, and she has to be treated in an Israeli hospital. She deserves to have her family around while going through such surgeries, and the world just needs to see this.
That was my colleague Avi Yemeni hearing from family members of loved ones who are being held captive. You can find more of that coverage at thetruthaboutthewar.com. But let's get to this protest.
Bring them home! Bring them home! Bring them home!
These are nations with common aspirations who must unite with each other to free themselves from the grip of the oppressive regime of the Islamic Republic.
Bring them home! Bring them home! Bring them home!
This is Daphna. Now, she was an organizer of this event, very involved in the efforts to bring the hostages home. You can find them online by searching Bring Them Home. Why was it important to organize this rally?
Because I think there's so many things going on that I don't want the hostages to be forgotten, and people forget that they're human, about humanity, and so many things are mixed up with politics and the war and everything. And those are people who were actually abducted at 6:30 in the morning, still in their pajamas, just people busting in and being very, very brutal. And I don't want this to be lost because it's been 23 days. And nothing is done about it. We don't know where they are. We don't know if the kids are fed. We don't know if the elderly have medication. We have no idea what's going on with them. And it could happen in any Western country because that's what happened. It wasn't a war zone. It wasn't soldiers against soldiers. It was families, and it could have been my family. and everyone in the Jewish community of Israeli has some connection to someone there. We heard a few people today, and I know a few of them. So it all integrates, and I wanted to bring up the crisis of the human side of it, and not talk politics, not talk religion, just human to human. And I think that's the best way for people to reach out, and not to forget them, because the number is 239. Amongst them, there are 30 kids. I can't imagine. I cannot. It's just beyond my. It's shocking. It still is shocking after 3 weeks.
All right, so here are some from the Vancouver Iranian Monarchist community. Why is it important for you guys to be a part of this today?
Well, it's our natural duty because we share a really rich history with the Jewish people that spans over 2.5 millennia, 2,500 years essentially. And because of that, it's not only just the Jewish people that are going through all sorts of oppression right now. We are going through a lot of oppression back at home in Iran. With the killing of Mahsa, with, the killing of all these impressionable Iranian youth that had a future that was taken away from them, from the murderous, bloodthirsty Islamic Republic. And we feel what the Jewish people are feeling today.
What do you make of, today there were signs of the hostages, but we're also seeing online people actually tearing down those same images. What do you make of that?
It's blatant anti-Semitism. It's just disgusting. There's no other way you can put it.
Are you happy with Canada's response to what's happening right now with Israel and Hamas?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
No.
Primarily, we want to free the hostages. This is a march about the sovereignty of Israel and, basic humanity, which is why we're marching with the Vancouver Iranian community who are struggling with the same thing under the current oppressive regime. So, yeah, this is an important march for all of us.
Now, the march held signs of images of hostages still being held, but online there's circulation of people actually tearing those same images down. What is that like when you see something like that?
It's completely heartbreaking, and what people need to understand that every human life is of equal and precious value, and it is not okay to be ripping up these posters. It is the exact problem that we have. And we got to do something about it. We got to raise awareness of what's going on.
As a Jew, as a human, as a Canadian, as a woman, I have no choice but to not be here. If this were my children, my family, I would want to know that people all over the world are coming out to say, bring them home. Even if it falls on deaf ears, we have to do something. We feel powerless. This is our only outlet to do something. It's symbolic, but maybe what the best part was when we were marching along the streets, people along the streets had their phones and they were filming us. And even if they upload it to social media, maybe they'll be curious. Maybe they'll understand what is going on for Jews all over the world, but especially in Israel.
It is important because there are 239 hostages, including babies that are 9 months old, 4 years old, that have been already 22 days in the hands of terrorists. So we need to be here standing and demanding to be released the hostages now. Now. It's about humanity to be here and stand with the people that are being held by terrorists. That's the word, terrorists.
Are you happy so far with Canada's response to what's happening?
It could be better because they are allowing in universities, in the streets, to be doing pro-terrorist strikes all over and walking and asking to eliminate a whole nation. So they should be more strict with this kind of protest.
Because we stand for Israel, for what happens, for our right to exist as Israel, as Jewish people.
Are you happy with Canada's response to what's happening in Israel and Gaza?
I'm not that happy. I think they've condemned what happened, and we need the support from Canada that's against Hamas, right? We're not against Palestinian people. We are all for life here, but it's a terrorist organization, and we need support for that.
Release of the hostages. Please bring them home.
To stand up for being Jewish and to bring the hostages home. Simple as that. We want peace.
Are you happy with Canada's response to this?
I'm not going to say anything else. Thank you.
It is very important to us. We would like to free all hostages and punish the people who did that.
What do you make of images that I'm assuming you saw of people tearing down the images of hostages in Gaza?
It's not right. It's not right. It should be respect. Show respect and free the hostages.
What do you say to people who think that these types of rallies mean that you don't care about Palestinian children dying?
No, I think everybody cares, but it should be completely different way to solve the problem. Free the hostages, guys. Just free the hostages.
I believe Iranian and Israeli people, we all have common enemies, and that is fanatic idea, which some governments are still following them, and it's only against innocent people.
Are you happy with Canada's response to this war?
No. Iranian people have been asking Canadian government for months to put Iranian government on terrorist list. So we know what we are doing, and they will know what they are doing. But unfortunately, in past year, since Mahsa's revolution, they never helped us. By backing up Iranian government, they are making our job even more difficult to get rid of Iranian fanatic and killer regime.
What do you make of people who say participating in a protest like this means you don't care about Palestinian people dying?
I can only say that for myself. My heart goes for all children and innocent people, they die. It doesn't matter from what religion, what country, what nation they are. But right now, we all know it's an Islamic regime in Iran is behind all these problems. I love Palestinian, I love Israeli, I love Iranian, I love all innocent people. We are not the cause, the politics, dirty politics, because that's why people are getting killed.
Well, there you have it. You heard from the people. Let us know in the comments what you think about what they had to say. I'm Drea Humphrey with Rebel News, and if you want to know more or see more of our coverage, go to CanadaStandsWithIsrael.com.